Hello everyone, it's Nat here, aka the Wolf of Watertown, and today I'm going to be talking about how the Roth IRA can turn you into a millionaire. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram at Wolf of Watertown. So without further ado, let's get started. The Roth IRA is an individual retirement account that you can start on your own. It is not tied to your employer's investment account. You can create a brokerage account through Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Wealthfront, whatever. I personally keep my Roth IRA through Vanguard. The Roth IRA is an account that you contribute to with after-tax dollars. In order to be able to contribute to the Roth IRA, you must have a W-2 job and you must make less than $139,000 per year. The benefit of having a Roth IRA is that you get to maximize your tax advantage accounts. The money that you put into your account has already been taxed. Therefore, the gains you make on that account grows tax-free. The name of the game is the more of your money you get to keep, the more of your money grows. And when you hit the age of 59 and a half and you're ready to withdraw that money, all that money is yours, absolutely tax-free. The tax benefits are great, but there's also a bunch of sweet benefits that come with the Roth IRA that do not come with the TSP or 401k. The first benefit is that there is no minimum age to create a Roth IRA. So let's say, for example, you have a child. You could potentially hire this child to work for your business, or if they are employed elsewhere, you could start a custodial Roth IRA for them. And it doesn't matter who exactly makes the contributions, except the contributions put into their Roth IRA cannot exceed how much they're getting paid at their W-2 job. So what a lot of rich people will do is they'll employ their teenage child into their business and then start making contributions to their Roth. So at this very young age, they're already setting them up for retirement. Now that's how you set up your children for success. Another great benefit with the Roth IRA that separates it from the TSP or 401k is there's no mandatory age for withdrawal. Therefore, once you hit retirement and you realize, hey, I don't really need this money, I've already done other things to set myself up for success, you can leave the money in the account and let the power of compound interest continue to work. And what's really great about this is now that money can be passed down to your kids, tax-free. Now talk about building generational wealth. Now let's say you have a spouse that doesn't work. You can also open up a Roth IRA in their name and make contributions to it themselves. Even though they don't have a W-2 job, you can fund their Roth. You can also pull out money from your contributions in your Roth without being penalized for it. And recently, I found out they do what's called a 60-day rollover. So let's say hypothetically, you wanted to pull out money from your Roth, which included some contributions and gains. As long as you return that money back to your Roth IRA account within the 60-day time frame, you are not taxed and you're not penalized for it. Essentially, what you're doing is borrowing money from yourself. For the Roth IRA, the max contribution if you're 50 and under is $6,000. For people over the age of 50, it's $7,000. Now, hey, look, I get it. You're probably thinking, this is nowhere near the $20,500 you can contribute to your employer account. However, with the Roth IRA, you have so much versatility in terms of what exactly you want to invest in. My personal Roth IRA journey started back in 2017. I took econ my sophomore year. I was a junior now. I had a little bit of money. So I went back to my econ professor and asked him, hey, sir, I have some money now. I want you to tell me what I should do with it. And then he said, well, do you have a Roth IRA? I was like, no. So he showed me this robo account, taught me how to do all these things. And I was like, wow, great. I'm going to invest my money and use it. Because prior to that, when I was enlisted, when I first got money, I literally could not tell you where it went. Now, back then, to max your Roth, it was $5,500. And you can max the year prior and the current year. So that's exactly what I did. $5,500, $5,500. So I graduated college in 2019 and I decided, hey, I'm going to move my Roth IRA to a Vanguard account because I understood investing a little bit more and I felt like I wanted to control my own financial future. Well, so now you're probably thinking, well, Nat, you graduated college less than 3 years ago and now you're giving out information about finances. Well, I was also skeptical at first when I was getting advice from mentors until I finally saw my Roth IRA continue to grow with the help of compound interest. So now I'll have you guys take a personal look into my own individual Roth IRA and see how the power of compound interest can also help you on your journey to become a millionaire. So here we are with my personal Roth IRA. You can see that I'm mostly invested in index funds. The first one here is the Vanguard 500 Index Fund Admiral shares. And then I have the Growth and Income Fund, followed by the International Growth Fund. And then I have the US Growth Fund. And now this is what typically scares a lot of people. You see all the minus signs and the negatives, but yet this isn't going to change anything I do at all. I'm just going to remain consistent because it's a long-term game, not a short-term game. And then you can see the total balance of how much I have in each one of these funds. It comes out to just about 50K, even though the market isn't doing its best right now, right? I'm still up 50K. And remember now, I started this in 2017, graduated college in 2019. So now I'm going to go here to investor.gov, where I'm going to show you how the power of compound interest can really work wonders. So right now I'm starting with my current principal, which is 50K. The Roth IRA, in order to max it each year, is $6,000. So 6,000 divided by 12 months, that equals $500 per month, right? Which I have automatic payments from my paycheck going straight to my Roth IRA after I'm taxed. So if you get paid on the 1st and the 15th, maybe set your auto deposits on the 2nd and the 16th, something like that. And right now, I'm currently 28 years old. I'm expecting to probably touch this money when I'm 65 years old. So let's say 2 years, that's 30, and then 35, so 37 years, right? And the S&P 500, the market tends to stay at about 10% over a 10-year time frame. So we're just going to go with that. Most of my index funds tend to beat the market, but we're going to go conservatively 10%. And then the interest rate variance range. So we're probably going to put a 2% interest rate variance because some years might be low, sometimes it might be high, but we'll just play around with it somewhere between the 8% and 12% range. And the compound frequency is going to be annually. So now we're going to calculate. Boom. And here's the results. At the end of 37 years, when I'm 65, this portfolio alone will be 3.6 million. And this isn't to count my TSP or 401k that you may have. And now we can see in the chart here. So at 10%, which the market typically stays at, it will be 3.6. If I were to get a 12% return, it would be 6.5%. And even if I were to get a 8% return, it would be 2 million. And let's open up this table here, and we can kind of watch how the effect of compound interest works. So each year your principal is essentially growing because you're contributing that 6,000 a year in order to max your Roth, and then that whole lump sum is growing in interest on it, which is pretty awesome to see. The middle one is the 10%. So let's just follow that. See how as the principal gets bigger and bigger, it seems to almost double the amount of money you're making. So by year 24, literally, so before I hit 50 is when I will touch the first million. So before I leave you all today, I know some of you saw the reds and the negatives, right? And you were thinking, wow, this is why I don't invest. But I want to show you guys something. So if you look at my account, you can see that today I've actually made a positive return of over $15,000. But if we were to look at how much I've made this year, it's negative 2,000. So the moral of that story is to stay the course, never change what you're doing based off of the market. And if you liked what you saw here today, make sure to like, subscribe, and give me a follow on Instagram at Wolf of Watertown. See you next time.